Hey Kobe, here is another video that you can add on to any of the other videos that I've sent. So starts with feet flat on the floor. So I'll go this way. We did this lying down in the first video that I sent you. So you're gonna have your legs the same way. So they're like kind of wider than your mat distance apart. Your knees are at like a 90-degree angle. Eventually you'll be able to do this without taking your hands back behind you. Maybe you can now. You could have your hands back behind you. You could have your hands on your shins. Or you could have no hands. You could not be using your hands at all. Same like the video started, the previous video, you don't want to be slumped back here. So you want to try to upright the pelvis as much as possible. So wherever you need to have your hands so it feels like your pelvis is not slumped into this round position as much as possible. So let's say you're on your hands back behind you, just makes it a little bit easier. Let your knees, just like we did when we were lying down, let your knees come over to the right. In order to do that, your left hand's gonna have to come up off the floor. So your knees are gonna go to the right. You're gonna let your right knee all the way down to the floor and try to let your left knee all the way down to the floor as well. Then take your left hand somewhere on your right leg and look over your right shoulder. And just be here long enough to be here now with your breath. Couple deep breaths, and then you'll inhale and you'll come back up. So you'll take your left hand back behind you, you'll upright the knees, and then you'll slowly sway your knees over to the left. I'm gonna just switch positions a little bit. So that's gonna look like this. You're gonna take your right hand on your left knee, and then you can pull a little bit with your arms and look way over your left shoulder. And then be here for a couple of breaths. And when you come back to center, you could take your right arm back behind you again and upright the knees. I'm gonna do that from this viewpoint. And then you could try to sit yourself up without your arms. So this would be the goal of this movement, is to have this mobility without using the arms very much. Maybe it's that you're holding your knees at first, or maybe that you are not holding your knees at all, and you're able to take the knees over to the right without using the arms. You can take the left hand on the right knee. You can lean on the right hand here if you want, or you can wrap your right hand back behind your back and look over your shoulder. So it's the same thing, but just without using as much support. You'll come back to the center. I'm just gonna switch viewpoints, and then you'll turn your knees. So you are over on the right, then you're coming up and you're taking your knees over to the left, just allowing the knees to sink down, using your arms as little as possible, but as much as you need. Take another breath here. And then you'll slowly come back up and you'll take your knees over to the right again. So here you have a 90-degree angle on your back leg and a 90-degree angle on your front leg. When you are looking at your front leg, your right leg, your shin is right in front of you. So you don't want your leg to be too far to your left, although it could be. For the deepest stretch, you want your knee to be at a 90-degree angle and right in front of you. So see if that's possible, and then use your arms to come and take your torso down onto your thigh. So if you're looking at this from a front view, what I was saying is that for the deepest stretch, you want your leg to be right in front of you. If that's not possible, you could take your knee over to the left a little bit. It's actually still gonna be a really good stretch, more like a piriformis stretch. And then instead of coming over your shin, you would be taking your chest over your knee. Go as far down as you can. See if you can rest your head forward. Be here long enough to feel the stretch and to maybe relax into the stretch a little bit. When you come up, you will use your arms to come up. You will bring the knees back up to starting point, and then you'll take your knees over to the left. Sorry, I'm moving around so much. I've limited viewpoint here. So when your knees come over to the left, you're gonna be looking straight at your shin again. Your back leg, when you look at your back leg, is in a 90-degree angle, and 90-degree angle from the body, and a 90-degree angle of the leg itself. more or less. So if it's too hard to come straight over your shin, like I'm coming over right now, you could move your whole leg to the right a little bit, and then you're coming over your knee instead. So either way, and there's, it's not either or, it's sort of a spectrum, this whole thing. So wherever your leg goes comfortably and allows you to feel a stretch, and you're gonna feel that stretch on the outer left hip on this side. Come down as far as you comfortably can. Gravity's gonna do it for you. You don't have to force it at all, and maybe let the head rest forward. And then see if you can be present with your breath and be present with the sensations in your body for, I mean, you can increase the time that you spend. I would say definitely start with at least 3 breaths where you're just kind of still and settling in the pose, and then increase that over time. When you come up, you'll use your arms to help you, and then you'll upright the knees again. Ideally, this whole thing happened and you were in the same position the whole time. You didn't need to move around. So your knees would roll to the left, knees would roll to the right. You're doing that without your arms. You're eventually coming down over your leg. You can also not use your arms to do that. We use the arms today for a little extra help. When you are done with your stretches, it's nice to have a still moment, whether you're comfortable in a seated position or whether you lie down, just to let your body absorb the stretching and the mobility and the breath. So have a good day, Kobe.